One more day of the U.S. government shutdown, the longest in recent years. According to BBC News, hundreds of thousands of federal workers are now permanently laid off, not just furloughed. The Trump administration says these cuts are part of a broader restructuring effort, while the opposition calls it political brinkmanship. 1. What's the fight really about? According to the Washington Post, the deadlock centers on two main demands. Republicans want deeper spending cuts and stricter immigration measures. Democrats demand their restoration of key social programs and guarantees for federal workers' pay. In a statement this morning, Vice President JD Vance said the administration won't negotiate under fiscal blackmail.
Only if you give billions of dollars of funding for healthcare for illegal aliens. That's a ridiculous proposition. Let me say two other quick things, and then again, I'll take some questions. Number one, we all understand that Democrats and Republicans have policy disagreements. The Democrats want to do things. Look, when Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries were in here a couple of days ago, they made some suggestions that the president was more than happy to say, yes, let's sit down and talk about how we can solve the healthcare crisis that we inherited from the Biden administration. But it's one thing to say that we should solve the healthcare crisis for Americans. It's another thing to say that we're going to shut down the government unless we give the Democrats every single thing that they want, which, as Caroline says, includes giving billions of dollars of taxpayer funding for healthcare for illegal migrants. That's ridiculous. You don't have policy disagreements that serve as the basis for a government shutdown. Let's have the conversation about how to fix American healthcare, about how to make healthcare more accessible. As the president showed, he's more than willing to act on behalf of the American people for this very reason. What you don't do is say, unless you do exactly what we want to do as congressional Democrats, we're taken hostage.
Meanwhile, Senate Democrats say the White House is using the shutdown as leverage to force long-term budget caps.
Want to give the money to undocumented immigrants. Here's PolitiFact. JD Vance said, Democrats are threatening to shut down the entire government because they want to give hundreds of billions of dollars to healthcare to benefit illegal aliens. What does PolitiFact say? False. And I hope you'll all write that over and over again, because if they're going to tell the lie over and over and over again, it's the responsibility of all of us to say it's a lie over and over and over again. Undocumented people cannot and will not receive a premium tax credit by federal law. The federal government does not fund health insurance for undocumented immigrants in Medicaid, Medicare, or Social Security by law. Republicans know it. They lie about it. When I was with the White House with Johnson, he said it. I was sitting there. I said, that's bull. And he didn't say it isn't. He just smirked. That's what they do. And when you lie about it, it shows fundamental weakness, because you know where the American people are. When they're confronted with the truth, they cover it up with a lie. But unfortunately for them, the truth doesn't lie. And as I mentioned, this chart shows what a high percentage of Americans want us to extend the ACA subsidies for health insurance. 71 to 29. And it shows you that's why it's so high, because even 60% of Trump voters want to extend it. So, Americans want lower costs. Americans want to extend the tax cuts. Many of my Republican colleagues want that too. So it's simple. They can reopen the government and make people's health care more affordable at the same time. And the only people making it a choice between one and the other, between health care and opening up the government to the Republicans. We're not. We say we can do both. Senator Corbett.
2. Economic fallout. According to Bloomberg Economics, each week of the shutdown costs the economy billions of dollars in lost output. The IMF warns that extended disruptions could drag Q4 GDP below 2%. Consumer confidence has dipped to its lowest point since 2023, and the stock market is showing increased volatility.
Likely to continue. And, I mean, I'm not trying to make political statements or statements about how I think the world should be organized. I'm trying to make these statements on the back of data. And, things like Texas is Trump country. But if you look at the beige book out of the Fed, the Dallas Fed is saying that, hey, this uncertainty is starting to weigh on businesses and potentially on growth and investment. And that's one of the signs that we're hearing from businesses, and we also hear them from clients. And then, of course, the market is telling us this week that the Trump administration lost the growth narrative to Germany, which hasn't happened in a long time. So we need to see how this plays out, but we expect further volatility ahead.
What's new this time is permanence. Reductions in force, meaning actual layoffs, not temporary furloughs. That's what's raising alarms from economists and business leaders across industries. 3. The trade war connection. As if the shutdown wasn't enough, the U.S.-China trade war is escalating. Reuters reports that China just tightened export controls on rare earth minerals, crucial for defense and tech industries. In response, the U.S. has threatened 100% tariffs on a broad range of Chinese imports. According to CNBC, this could push inflation up again right as the Fed tries to keep prices under control. 4. What's next? Politico reports that behind closed doors, bipartisan talks have stalled. Moderate senators from both parties are drafting a short-term funding bill. But so far, the White House hasn't signaled support. Meanwhile, Wall Street strategists warn that prolonged dysfunction could affect America's credit rating, a scenario Moody's already flagged earlier this year. 5. Reflection, the American dream for millions of Americans. This isn't just a headline, it's a paycheck. And for the world, it's a question. Can the country that built the global financial system still govern itself? What do you think? Is this shutdown about fiscal discipline or political theater? Drop your thoughts below and follow for more updates on how politics is shaping the American dream.